Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom surrounded by tall green hills and sparkling rivers, lived a kind king and queen. For many years, they wished for a child. One bright morning, their wish came true. A beautiful baby girl was born. The entire kingdom celebrated her birth with music, laughter, and joy. The king and queen named their daughter Aurora, meaning dawn, because she brought light into their lives. To celebrate, they invited everyone to a grand feast, including the fairies of the land who would bless the princess with magical gifts. One by one, the fairies stepped forward. The first fairy blessed Aurora with beauty. The second blessed her with a kind heart. The third fairy began to speak, but suddenly, the doors flew open with a crash of thunder. It was Maleficent, the fairy who had not been invited. Furious, she raised her staff and declared that on Aurora's 16th birthday, she would prick her finger on a spinning wheel and fall into a deep sleep, one that could last forever. Before anyone could stop her, Maleficent vanished into a swirl of dark smoke. The room was silent until the last fairy, who had not yet given her gift, stepped forward. She couldn't undo the curse, but she softened it. Instead of dying, Aurora would fall into a deep sleep, only to be awakened by true love's kiss. The king ordered all spinning wheels in the kingdom to be burned and banned forever. Aurora grew up surrounded by care and love, watched over by 3 good fairies disguised as her aunts. They named themselves Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather and lived with Aurora in a cozy little cottage deep in the forest. Aurora grew into a graceful young woman with golden hair and a voice as soft as the wind. She loved singing with the birds, picking berries, and talking to the forest animals. She didn't know she was a princess, only that she lived happily with her 3 aunts. One sunny afternoon, while wandering through the woods, Aurora met a handsome young man. They talked, laughed, and walked together. Little did they know, he was Prince Philip, the very prince promised to Aurora when she was a baby. When Aurora returned home, her fairy guardians told her the truth, that she was the princess and must return to the castle that very night. Aurora was heartbroken to leave the forest and her new friend, not knowing he was the same prince destined for her. That night, at the castle, Aurora wandered through its many rooms, still feeling lost and confused. As the clock struck midnight, she heard a soft humming sound. Entranced, she followed it up a narrow staircase to a hidden tower. Inside the tower, a spinning wheel stood glowing mysteriously. A shadowy figure, Maleficent in disguise, urged her to touch it. Without knowing why, Aurora reached out and pricked her finger on the spindle. At once, Aurora fell to the ground, fast asleep. When the fairies found her, they knew the curse had come true. To protect her, they cast a spell over the entire castle. Everyone fell into a deep sleep, and vines grew around the castle walls, hiding it from the world. Years passed. The story of the sleeping princess spread across lands. Many brave princes tried to reach the castle but failed. The thick thorns and Maleficent's dark magic kept them away. One day, Prince Philip heard the tale of the sleeping beauty. Remembering the girl he met in the forest, he set off at once. With courage and determination, he reached the castle gates, only to be met by Maleficent herself, who transformed into a gigantic dragon. The prince fought bravely. Fire blazed around him, but his heart was strong. With one final strike, he threw his sword straight into the dragon's heart. Maleficent screamed and vanished into smoke, and the vines around the castle began to fade away. Philip entered the silent castle. He climbed the stairs until he found Aurora lying peacefully on her bed, her golden hair shining softly in the sunlight that peeked through the window. The prince leaned forward and gently kissed her forehead. At that very moment, Aurora's eyes fluttered open. The curse was broken. The fairies woke up, and the entire castle burst into life again. Soon after, the king and queen rejoiced to see their daughter alive and well. The kingdom was filled with music and joy once more. Aurora and Philip's love grew stronger each day. Their wedding was held in the castle courtyard surrounded by flowers, laughter, and songs. The fairies blessed the couple, ensuring peace and happiness would stay in their kingdom forever.